there everyone, been a little while since I talked to the camera like this. You probably noticed over the past 6 months, maybe a year, there's been a lot of experimenting on this channel.
I have the attention of the class for 1 second.
There are really two big reasons for this. First, I really wanted to learn editing better and get a little bit better at content creation as a whole. I kind of just started this up, like almost 2.5 years ago now, just without knowing really anything, just kind of putting stuff together, seeing what works. And I got to a point where I wanted to get actually good at this. I think I got a little bit better. And the other reason is I got a little bit bored of making the same type of Flutter videos, the same Flutter tutorials over and over. And if you watch my Flutter roadmap video, you notice there was a lot of steps on the last step to become a Flutter expert was to just go out, experience it, and build stuff, right? And all those steps leading up to that, I pretty much had videos on all of them. And all that stuff was obviously really fun, but I wanted to get more. I knew exactly what kind of videos would get views on this channel. For example, Flutter versus React Native, or maybe RiverPod versus GetX. But I just didn't really want to do that, honestly. I wanted to try some new stuff. I wanted to see what I'm capable of on YouTube in general. So I first started at this point with the Control Lights with Flutter video and the amazing history of Flutter. That's where I was just kind of learning, editing, and basically how to make a video more interesting to watch. And throughout this whole time, I've been learning storytelling, trying to level up my skills in that area. And that came through with videos like quitting social media and stuff like that. I even got a teleprompter so that I could read scripts and write out perfect scripts beforehand. Then eventually settled on a genre about making money with tech, which honestly at the time I was probably spending more learning about that type of stuff than I was with Flutter. So I figured, might as well share what I'm learning there. But that just didn't really feel right. I don't want to be like pushing people to tell them how to use their money. And I've lost a lot of money doing stupid things, doing stupid quote unquote investments. So I didn't think I should be the guy advising people how to do it. And if you watch some financial channels and stuff like that, you know that there's not that much to financial success. I think Warren Buffett or someone around his level said financial success could be all written down on a single note card. And I didn't want to go too deep into the speculative stuff that I'm kind of doing that, might not be the best financial advice. And I think the culmination of all this stuff I was doing can be found in this last video, where I added together storytelling, I think some relatively good editing, and this is probably the video I'm most proud of that I've ever made. So where does all this stuff lead? I've had a lot of time to think about what I actually want to do on YouTube, and I guess within social media in general, and that caused me to take a little step back and look at the stuff that I enjoyed the most. And I don't know why I didn't do this earlier, because it was pretty straightforward of an answer, but it was definitely my deep dive playlist that I did, where I went deep into the way that Flutter works, looking into how widgets are rendered, looking into what a widget is, looking into Dart isolates and stuff like that. Those were definitely some of my favorite videos that I enjoyed making, just because the actual research process was fun. I actually learned something and I got to put it together in a way that where it was easy for others to understand. And the second one that I really liked is Flutter update videos. So those are kind of going over the changes and updates to Flutter. And I think both of those just kind of go back to the thing that I've known about myself for a little while, is that I just like learning things. And I got to a point where I wasn't necessarily learning, just kind of figuring ways to make videos that were clickable and stuff like that. And in terms of the content that I'm putting out, I think that stuff might be more, maybe beneficial to the viewers. Now that Flutter and just development in general is becoming such a big thing, everybody's making videos on how to implement X or how to create layout Y or something like that. I don't think there's as many people going on like really deep dives understanding how the tech actually works. And in my opinion, understanding that type of stuff is very, very valuable in the real world. When you're actually building applications and things aren't working for some reason, having that technical understanding of why it's not working, having that knowledge of what's going on behind the scenes can help you figure stuff out a lot faster. If you worked for a big corporation or with a big company, you've probably heard the term finding the root cause or root issue. That comes up all the time, and I think having a deep understanding of that knowledge obviously helps you out a lot with that. But there's only so many Flutter deep dives. Once you have a core understanding of how Flutter works behind the scenes, there's not that much more stuff to go into, right? Of course, there's always like little things you cover, like maybe how this pointer works over here. But in general, like the general topics, once you get widgets, once you get rendering, and maybe some other topics that I don't know off the top of my head right now, there's really not that much more to go into. And even though I love Flutter, it's still the main thing I use, I'm still curious about a lot of other stuff within that tech industry. So I want to go on more deep dives about tech in general and just how things work in this world. That's actually why I got into computer engineering in the beginning, is because I didn't understand how this freaking computer thing worked in front of me. It felt like magic and I wanted to understand it. And there's still a lot of things out there that I don't understand. But I think a lot of these things will still overlap with Flutter. Some examples of things that I'm thinking about is like, there was that Metal upgrade for iOS. I don't know about you, but I have no idea what Metal was and what it really did. I just knew it was something to do with rendering. But I want to do a deep dive on what Metal is, why Flutter switched to it, and what's better about it. Some of the things are, I generally don't really understand the internet. Like how does it work? Where do these websites come from? How does the internet handle maybe thousands, maybe even millions of people going to the same website at the same time? Things like WebRTC and connecting people together via the internet. That part still seems like a little bit of magic to me. Another thing I'm super interested in is computer vision, like how computers can analyze pictures and do stuff according to that. That might definitely be valuable within Flutter apps if you're making some really cool stuff. Or maybe even stuff like how animations work. Like, honestly, I don't really know. Maybe some of you do, but most of the time, if I have to do an animation, I just kind of follow a tutorial online. I don't really understand what an animation really is. So yeah, even though I know a little bit about all these topics, I've dabbled into it a little bit, used them, of course. I still don't really understand technically what the heck is going on. And I want to find out, and I want to share with you guys. I've also been learning Svelte and SvelteKit behind the scenes. I wanted to remake my website that I just got using a Next.js template somewhere. I wanted to remake it with my own website so I could add a whole bunch of stuff there. And I've actually been learning some pretty cool things like cross origin and things like that. I don't know if those will ever make it to video, but maybe. I'm also using Svelte for another startup. Maybe I'll share some of the progress and things I've learned from there. I'm also planning to do more live streams. I know I've been doing them before and I would just go on and off sometimes, do them, and I have a lot of fun, but then I just kind of get a little exhausted. I'm thinking of making it more sustainable to where I can be more consistent. I'm thinking maybe we could do research for the videos on live streams. I think that could be fun. Let me know if you have any ideas in the comments. But in general, I love learning stuff, and I'm just a curious person. And long term on YouTube, I want to do the stuff that I consistently enjoy and can come back excited for it every single day. And I'm hoping most of you enjoy too. And if not, I'll sell this channel to the highest bidder and buy a farm and go chill with my goats. If you watched till the end, smash like, subscribe. And the last thing I wanted to mention is I will be trying to get back to a consistent schedule. The idea is these videos will be a little bit less edited than what I've learned, but hopefully use some of the elements that I've learned, bring them into here. But overall, just be like more relaxed. And the goal is to teach and to learn as much as we can together. That's it. That's all I really wanted to share. Thank you everybody for sticking around with me. Let me know in the comments what type of deep dives you want to see. And I'm excited to learn together.